Round 13 is in the books. I ended up with a 714 myself in fantasy and no trades were made. So pretty happy with that performance. Anything over 700 this week was some really good gains being made. That's for sure. If you're in the slightly lower ranks around that 10,000 or 15,000, something like that, anything over 650 would have netted you a good little gain there. That's for sure. And that could have just been really a captaincy difference, not having Aiken, potentially, captaining someone that picked up a 47, or the vice captaincy situation with Teddy having to play one short. Anything like that could have ended your week and your total in the early to mid 600s there, which is not the end of the world. And as I was saying in that previous video, make sure you go back and check out the 5 things learnt from round 13, the round wrap there. We go through plenty of interesting sort of fantasy thoughts around where you should be at with trades and what kind of rounds you should be targeting based on where your team is at. And really the targets there are situated about trying to get you a week where you can sort of halve your rank or do big moves. And that happened in round 13. I imagine it will be the same in round 16 and also round 19. And it felt like to me that round 13 was one of the easier ones to get a full 13 on the park, and it might be much more difficult in 19, more around the trade situation, that's for sure. But to quickly go through my team here, it was a 47 from Brayley, pretty happy with that. Plathy a 59, so happy to have him in the squad doing good things. Hughesy's 10 was frustrating, but that was offset by obviously Aitken as captain. Very glad to have him for the last 3 weeks there. Obviously, it's not as many weeks as I mentioned him as a terrific buy a while ago there in round 2 and all round 4, whichever one you wanted to go for, but still very happy that I've been able to get on his biggest scores of the year. And a lot of other people have as well. 20% of the top 1,000 were able to jump on for him, getting these good scores over the last few weeks and get him as captain. Maxi King with a 47. Just the minutes, a little bit of worry for him, and obviously Hughes. So the 2 guys that I own ended up playing less minutes than what we would have hoped. And that game wasn't great for me in general there with Hughes, King, Karaz there, and obviously Armstrong with 26 did go up a couple of extra points. I did see Reed Marnie went up from 46 to 53. I'm not sure what happened there, but that was a massive jump overnight there, or this morning. I don't know when it was. I just saw it in the head-to-head team that he's up at a 53 now. And for those that captained him, end up getting picking up an extra 14 points overnight, which is incredible. But Karaz with his 30 wasn't all of what we cracked it up to be, what we wanted it to be for him. And obviously Trey Fuller as well. He's been scoring incredibly well for my team, and a 36 in this one. Not the end of the world, but not a game changer. And if he went well, if Karaz, if they both got like 50 there, I would have made so many ranks. But already made plenty, which was nice there for sure. With week 68, I got overs there with Atkinson. So let's just say Atkinson, I was expecting maybe a 33 or something like that. So an extra 18 points that Karaz or Fuller could have picked up. And the man of the moment, Scotty Drinkwater, with an 81 was absolutely massive. Very, very happy with that one for sure. And still owning Kaipi's Ball for 54 was great there as well. So I did move from just outside the 3,000 mark, 3,050, all the way into 1,624. Not using any trades last week, sitting there with 13. I am in a position right now, though, where I will need to make a host of trades there for sure, considering I am in a position there with Angus Crichton, Plath, Aitken, Trey Fuller, and obviously KO Weeks out on the bye, Origin bye, whichever way you want to play that one. So I'd be one short on that in itself. I do believe Joey Lussick won't be making it back into this side anytime soon, so he's an out this week as well. So that's 6 down, leaving me 2 short right now. And that does mean continuing to play Hughes. It obviously means playing Piakura as well, but I don't think we really have an option with that one. There's a chance for Hines to not back up. I think it's a pretty high chance. I think Cotter will back up. I think Grant will back up. Obviously, if things don't go poorly for them injury-wise, or they play 80 minutes or whatever it is for guys like Grant, which unlikely given he's going to start off the bench. But with guys like Cotter, if things happen, he has to play massive minutes. There's a little bit of chatter around Armstrong potentially not making the side. So it could be in a little bit of curry, but I do think that I'm a very high chance of having to make 4 trades this week. It's going to be 3 or 4. I think 3 if everything goes right. 4 would be out of necessity if things go wrong, if Hines is out and Armstrong's out as well. I think we're going to have to make the 4 in this upcoming week. But yeah, we'll have to work that out. Really, after we got team lists tomorrow, and then we've got Origin. So 2 really big things to look at as to what we're going to have to do in our sides, and it's more what we have to do rather than what we get to do in this scenario, given the team list is going to give us a lot of information, obviously, on who straight up is going to be backing up. They could just not name them. A lot of the time they do name, for those that are newer to this, a lot of the time they do name their origin stars in the reserves. And if they back up, if they get through well and don't play big minutes, or don't have to do a tremendous amount of work, and they come out feeling good, then they'll end up playing in their next fixture, whether it's 3 days later, 2 days later, 4 days later, whatever that is there. So that's what you do need to think about that. But really, I think that we should just be sitting on our hands for today. Wait until team list at least tomorrow before you muck around with making a lot of moves, because I do think a lot of things will change coming into tomorrow afternoon with team lists, and then we may have some interesting things happen at Origin, right? Which you might need to make some decisions on there. Yeah, from my example with my team is that Hamaso, if he ends up getting injured in Origin, then Fuller becomes a hold. Whereas if he gets through unscathed, then there is a pretty decent chance this week that Fuller is one getting punted out of my side, along with someone like Crichton, and potentially, if Hines doesn't back up, then he could be someone that we move out of our side as well. But I've just moved everyone in to the starting side that I need to. I've got Grant and Piakura there on the bench, waiting to go at this stage with the rest of these guys out. But again, we're likely going to be making 3 to 4 trades in my team this week. Just a quick check on team value. We're sitting at just over 13.3 million. We had Brayley go up in cash this week. Hughes down 35k, which is frustrating. King up 5. Kaipi's Paul down 6. Ira down 4. Kravaz 3 up. Atkinson 36 up, which has been awesome. Drinkwater up 27. Armstrong up 45, even with the lower score. Plath up 4. Aitken up 37. He's up 240k now. Weeks up 72, and then Fuller up 10. So yeah, and even 200k for Fuller buys there when he first came into this side, which is pretty cool. I think we'll probably leave my future plans up to what happens in TLT and Origin. As I said, likely going to be making some upgrades. One of the edges, I think, whether it's Eli Katoa or Fafita, if it probably is going to be Fafita if we get news that Hines isn't backing up or something like that. That'll probably be where I go. I will be looking at potentially the half position at some point. Obviously, if Hines is to go, I'll probably be looking at bringing in a half. I think I'll need to anyway, actually, this week, to be honest with you. If he is out, I'll be needing to bring in a half unless I'm playing Atkinson up there, and then therefore it'll be a wing fullback that needs to come in, or a centre. So there's a few things to think about, and that's why I don't want to overload my brain, and obviously your brains, too much on a Monday, given we've got so much information to come out of this over the next couple of weeks. So let's just go in and have a look at the top rankings right now. And obviously I'm into 1624, but there's some guys up here that have had absolutely cracking weeks. And Patrick, a big congratulations to you, mate. 832 was his score this week, and he had some big numbers on the bench. He ended up looping Tarpany, how fun's that, with Hopgood in that mid position, and then looping Atkinson with Armstrong. So an absolute masterstroke there to have Armstrong in the interchange there, and obviously took him out. I think given Atkinson played the first game, we would have looped him and then decided to remove Armstrong instead of Weeks or Drinkwater there. So that was a cracking choice and a big score at 832. He's opened up almost a 40-point lead on Christian in second, and then Joseph's almost it's basically 90 points back from Christian there in third, with Regan in fourth, DJC in fifth, Zach in sixth, the Schnackenhausen, love it, Matty B, Fred, Dawson, and also Grant to round out the top 10. My cousin Tommy Brown there in 12th, so falling a little bit, but nothing too crazy at the moment. So yeah, just obviously a little bit away from first, let's just say that, at 650 back from first at the moment. But if you look at 10th, we are less than 500. We're about 450 away from 10th there, which is not too bad at all. And so I'm at, 10,572. Let's check out the top 100, 10,572. And then we've got 10,872. So only 300 points back from 100th, which is pretty cool on that front. So yeah, it really is only a bunch of good weeks here over the Origin period, and we can put ourselves in a good spot to move closer to sort of the top 1,000 and then the top 500 and get closer and closer to the 100, where the elusive top 100 that I wasn't able to make last year coming 101st. So yeah, still a great year, but top 100, thankfully I've got it once before, but I'd love to get back there again, that's for sure. So let's have a look at our leagues now and where we're at. And just a shout out to my girlfriend Ish that every time we play up against each other in the JBFA fam group, she beats me. But surprisingly, we're not in the best spot. Well, I'm not in the best spot there, coming fourth somehow out of the head-to-heads. I've lost 4 in a row, considering I'm in 1600th overall, and had a really good week this week. I was still able to still got smashed there on that one, but a very, very close comp with Scoop in there as well. And someone asked if Scoop was actually part of my family. He's part of the JBFA fam, not my direct family. Just to clarify for those that were asking there. But my brother in there with 8 wins and I'm at 5, and that's the difference between that top 4. So pretty cool at that. I think each went from about 10,000 to 4,500. So a massive change there, and that's what you guys can do as well week to week. Round 13, round 14, I think it's going to be a big mover this week as well. And we spoke about 16, 19, and the like from there. Just wanted to give a big shout out to Shane from the private group there. He ends up winning our first lot of prizes for the year. A lot of the prizes are back-ended between the knockout head-to-head comp, individual head-to-head comps, the knockout side of it where the big cash is and prizes are, and then the overall side of it. But Shane, congrats to you. Ended up, unfortunately for Mitch, he ended up not going as well this week. Still okay enough at 638, losing a few spots, but Shane got a 772 and plummeted all the way down into 111th spot there. So congrats to Shane. Bevan, shout out to you in second, Liam in fourth, and Nicholas in fifth there in the private group. Moving down the line there, I end up winning all of my head-to-heads outside of the one against Ish, unfortunately for me. But the Battle of the Podcast, I do want to shout out Austin again into 83rd, so a really solid position there with a 678. Wasn't his best score, along with Daniel there, 677. Both kind of holding rank or close to it over this week, and thankfully for me was able to claw a couple of points back on him, but I'm still about 248 points behind Daniel there in second. So yeah, got plenty of work to do. I'll get in and have a little look once the Footy Statistics Team Analyzer updates as to where these guys are at in terms of trades. And this is a good thing you can do, guys. Just if you've got someone in your group that you are trying to beat, which I am trying to catch up to these two guys, you can just type their name into the Footy Statistics Team Analyzer, and it's probably not ready today, but it'll be ready tomorrow there once all the data comes through, and you'll be able to see how many trades they've got left. And yeah, you can just look at obviously their situation here, just as you click it, as to who's got a buy coming into this week, and you can make all those thoughts and decisions as to what you need to do, maybe, and which week you want to target to try and catch up to these guys, if that's something that is important to you. And it's obviously, there's plenty of competition in this, and it's the battle of the podcast. So good to see myself there in third, and a shout out to the Scoopman, who has improved, thank goodness, into 10,820. So a big move this week with a 722. He beat me by 8 in the end, which was really, really cool. So yeah, you got Austin, Daniel up top. Dom, I ended up going past him this week. He picked up a 646. So yeah, and Lucy as well. Not as good of a week there with 615. So good to take my rightful spot at third in there as well. Shout out to Mark there with 683. Moved him into 7,907. And he was one of those guys actually that had Reed as captain and picked up an extra 14 points and moved him some extra rankings in the back end there. So there you go. Just wanted to touch on those ones there. And now let's move along. I think we'll go straight to the head-to-head overall side. Yeah, I think we're ready to now. It's enough on the results there. Let's go to that head-to-head side now, to my overall side now. We ended up with a 977 there, which was pretty solid there. We made a lot of ranks, which I'll go into the homepage in a second and go through that. But Brownie with a 76, Iro's 59, Curran 75, really happy with them. Kaipi's Paul and Brayley, still really solid scores. Aiken with the 89. Strange, Osaka is a bit of a lower game for me, unfortunately. The Raiders and the Dolphins there outside of the Aiken trade in a couple of weeks ago, but Osaka 42 and Fuller 40, along with Smithy's 40 there. That kind of hurt me. If those guys had a really nice week, I would have made so many ranks, more than halved my rank, but that final game was the best thing ever. You had Walker as captain there at 88, Terrell May at 116. I was actually tempted to captain him earlier on in the week, not that late in the week, but I suppose I didn't expect a 75-minute. I thought about 60 minutes and maybe not a try, but great stuff from him. And then Drinkwater 101. And you see there I had Talangi didn't play, Sam Hughes was 16, and then Isaac Tungal was my second to last lowest score there. So that 37 didn't count. I had a few 40s in there that ended up counting. in that section there. So moving back to the home screen, I end up moving inside the top 3,000, which was very, very cool there. 2,983 there. Now is my overall rank. And I didn't make any trades this week, so very happy with that as well. And I've had a little muck around with where the team's at coming into this week. And yes, just a tick under the 15 million in the team value. And now that we've gone through those scores, this is where we're kind of sitting for this week. I do have 17 available, most likely, before any trades were to come. And I obviously don't have any boosts left. And thank goodness none of the guys that played on the weekend that are likely to play this week are injured at this point. But I will be making 2 trades. The question is, do we see Hines back up? Do we see Blaise Talangi make the centres now that Bailey Simonson's injured? Do we see the backing up of, who else have I got? That's it, actually. Oh, that's good. I'm actually pretty low. Oh, Val Holmes as well. That's the only other one there. So hopefully they all get through unscathed. And if I lose 1 or 2 of those guys, that leaves me with 15 or 16. And then that 2 trades will get me to sort of 17 or 18 there. I do think that Hughesy's going to play some more minutes this week, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if we have to play him. And hopefully Talangi gets that centre spot, because up against the Doggies this week, it'll be a fun little matchup against either Crichton or Carraz, which will be cool there if he gets that left centre spot. So yeah, that's where we're at this week. We do have that decent amount of players. I think we'll be able to sort of hold rank this week at least, most likely. Obviously, yeah, you can't win them all. You can't almost halve your rank in round 13 and then not... and then just continue to dominate the next week. I think having a boost would have helped there for sure, because I may have used one, but we'll see how this week plays out. That's for sure in that one. And just wanted to do a quick shout out in the private group. I'm in 3rd for that one, and a shout out to Matt, the 2 Matts up top, Lunatics and the adorable Rossi in that scenario, in that position there. 27th out of 97th. I am in the Podmasters overall, so a much better move there. There's a bunch of people there in that sort of 2,000 to 3,000 ranking slot, which is cool to see as well. And yeah, shout out to Mark, the Barnstormers in there, 1,026 this week, moving from 103rd into 33rd this week. So that's probably the main shout out I wanted to do. A lot of the guys we speak about normally didn't go too crash hot. You had Brian there with NRL Physio, nothing special for him in that one. Just over 900. Tim there, 940. You had... Where else we got? We've just got to scroll down a little bit further there to get to Kuma Staines. Tim there, 843. It's not good on that front. Guru, 917 for those that follow along at home, that like following some of the guys you listen to. You had, and then you had Josh, SC Whisperer there on the charge back into 22,000. Scooper, 933. Made 7,500 ranks, but still unfortunately down at 26,000. So that's the overall side for Fantasy Supercoach. Let's go to the head-to-head team now. So 653 it was. Obviously still not owning Hines in this team, which can't move the needle, sadly enough, in this one. We obviously brought in Manu last week, captained him this week for a 45 to double it up to a 90. Wasn't the best one there. Obviously, in that situation, having him in there, spending that money in that position, and having Nikora instead of Aiken, there's 50 points in itself, plus that captaincy. Let's just say I had Manu but captained Aiken instead there of having Nikora, then I'm sitting there with about a 750, which is so different, or 740 or something like that, and make a ton of rank. So I end up moving up into 16,648, which was 6,000, almost a 6,000 rank improvement, which is good. I didn't end up getting to take Strangers 44. I took Iros in the center spot, and then we got Cole in the 39. He was on 30 on half time, and then slowed it down obviously, but happy enough with those scores there. And it was just the Manu situation. Like if he came out and dominated, we would have crushed it. Free Marnie's 53 was good, and then Dylan Brown's 50. So just no massive standout Aitken type of score there. Thankfully have Drinkwater in this one here, but I wanted to roll into... I should check the round 14 situation first before we move on, but 11 trades left in this side, and in a pretty good situation coming into this week there. I only have the 5 out so far. I think hoping there that the Tohu Harris returns, and if that's the case, then it's probably a 2 trade kind of week this week, and sits me at 9 trades in the head-to-head slot, and obviously trying to get continued wins in my matchup so far. Unfortunately, lost the Gargarov by 11 points there, frustratingly enough, and lost the 653, just not enough there. Lost by 15 in the next one, Lost to League of Legends, and then won won a couple here and there. But still, some of them outside the 8 or in 8th position now. So we do need to get some wins here coming up, and that's where we'll be looking to make a good stick of it here in round 14, and then go from there in the head-to-head squad. Didn't want to take too much of your time for this one. Obviously, most of my time personally is spent on the overall side. But remember, guys, now that round 13's out of the way, round 14's a very, very important matchup. So that's where, if we can get a strong enough 17 on the park or close to it here, we can try and get some good wins on the board in when all of the matchups are open. And that's your goal here in the head-to-head. And obviously me sitting on the back end of that 8, I still need to continue focusing on getting those wins right now and look to conserve trades when I'm in a position to be able to. Basically, is as simple as that for the head-to-head side. And we'll leave it at that there. For the head-to-head Supercoach side, 955 there. Made a good amount of ranks. Moved from 9,200 there into 6,074. So a good little move there. But the big thing here is my league wins 2 out of 2. So very, very happy with that one. It got very, very close in my important head-to-head there. Obviously, sitting there with 22 trades, still only used the 1 trade, and that was for David Armstrong. But 296k in the bank and a boost available. We'll have to see how how the situation ends up this week, because I do have that boost available if I want to try and get some wins on the board. But yeah, it was a very fun matchup coming into the last game there in this one, where he had Manu, Walker, and Dom Young, which that looks scary up against Dom Young and Terrell May. But thankfully, my captaincy ended up a little bit better, picking up that extra 24 points, and then Terrell May with 116 outdid that of Sam Walker, and then Manu just going for the 51. Whereas if we went 75 or 80, I do lose this. Yeah, 80. If I get to 80, I'll lose this head-to-head. So yeah, it was a really, really important win up against the third player in the comp. I'm sitting in at 15th now, and it's just still very, very close up top. So I'm 15th and 16th in my important head-to-heads, and hopefully we can get something moving from there over the next few weeks with some wins, and maybe this next couple of weeks is going to be the play with 296k in the bank, 1 boost remaining, 22 trades, pretty good overall, with Johnson returning and Adam Fanua-Blake most likely returning. So this team is looking much better outside of that 2RF, where Kai Pearce-Paul and Lane are my only available 2RFs this week. So hopefully that is a position that I can move on from either a Chan, a Smithies, a Crichton, use that cash from Crichton to do some moving around. Outside of that, the positions are very well set and in a good spot there, outside of maybe doing something with a Strange, or if Armstrong or Talangi's out, maybe to a Latrell Mitchell or something like that. So that's the head-to-head team. Hopefully we start building up some wins. I do think having Adam Fanua-Blake and Johnson back is going to be super helpful. So I hope that round results video is really cool for you guys to get a bit of an idea on where teams are at and certain plans. And obviously, yeah, just waiting till TLT and then the Origin game. Up the Blues on that one, but I will see you before that game comes around in a couple of videos tomorrow. So thanks, guys. We'll see you then.